The controversial e-tolls in Gauteng are scheduled to kick off tomorrow, with Sanral stating that at least 21,000 motorists have bought their e-tags after the commencement date was announced. However, interested parties are currently gathered in court as the Freedom Front Plus has announced an 11th hour case to delay the implementation. Joining us now on the line, sorry, not on the line, in fact, right next to me in studio is Wayne Duvenage, chairperson of ATA. Good to have you in studio, Wayne. Big day tomorrow, and there was a piece that I wrote over the weekend saying this is the day when the will of the government gets pitted against the will of the people, helped along by your view that not too many people have got e-tags.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, and government is swooning about the fact that 21,000 people have gone out since the e-tag, the e-toll announcement, the date of launch was announced. Now that's less than 1% of the 2.5 million motorists that use the freeway, let alone the 3.5 million motorists registered in Gauteng. We've denounced their figures before of the 707,000. A lot of that's with government fleets and so forth. They've lied about those numbers in the past. But that, I think, is an indictment to them, and that is a clear signal from society that they're not giving this system the thumbs up. Ipsos did research. They put that out on Friday. 42% of people said they do not intend to get e-tags, and this was a credible research. Only 14% agreed with the fact that e-tolling is the right way to fund these roads. So I think everything is pointing to the fact that the system does not have the support and the buy-in of society, and these systems of this nature need that, otherwise they fail.
But the problem being, if and I had this conversation with a good friend of mine yesterday, a very smart guy, who said, if we as citizens decide which laws we want to follow and which we don't want to follow, then chaos will erupt.
Well, I guess if you had that attitude back in the apartheid days when those were the laws, albeit illegitimate, then we wouldn't be where we are today. You know, when a law is an unjust one, and remember, the lawfulness of e-tolling still has to be heard. The Supreme Court of Appeal hung our case on a technicality, and they stated very clearly the issues around Sanral's lawful or unlawful behavior still has to be tested in court. That is all there, and that still has to be tested. So if you want to run roughshod over society, and our laws say that you need to conduct meaningful engagement with society and the public, and you don't do that, then you face the wrath of society. So unjust laws are, and it's not just here, it's around the world, this has happened, especially on processes of this nature, are set aside and are made ungovernable by society. Why? Because they don't believe that they've been participated with properly, the laws haven't been applied, the minister didn't apply his mind, he didn't have all the facts in front of him. There's enough here for the public to step back and say, on this one, we will not support you. And I don't see a big outcry around paying tax. I don't see a big outcry around the fact that we don't need roads, or, I mean, we understand all of this stuff. Citizens aren't fools. But in this space, especially when you have all the other corruption, the maladministration, 30 billion rand wasted, and it makes matters worse for them.
Well, I would have thought that the Mail and Guardian's piece on Friday would certainly not have helped government's case in this instance. But what's going to happen tomorrow? Are people going to pull down the gantries?
Well, we're hoping that there isn't destruction to property. We know that it is one of the unintended consequences of an unjust process like this. It happened in Portugal, damage to gantries. We're saying that shouldn't happen. We're hoping it doesn't. But what we are going to see is that less than half the cars out there, in fact, we've had people checking windscreens over the weekend, that's minimal. Because even of the 700,000, those might be tags and cupboards of big fleet companies not even fitted yet to cars. All that administration process has to be followed. So you're going to have a lot of cars on the road where people are not getting tags. They're going to see what happens. They want to get the bill in the post. They'll make their decisions. You'll get others saying, we're not paying, full stop. We're prepared to go to court. We're prepared to go to jail on this. And there are people that are making those statements. And it's going to be a messy affair. But government is not listening. They're forging ahead. We believe there is a solution. If they will just sit down and listen and chat with the stakeholders, all of them, we can find a solution to this. If they don't want to go down that road, they must deal and answer to the unintended consequences.
For the will of the government and the will of the people, as we said right in the outset. But Wayne, what happens when the first guy gets arrested and gets thrown into jail? Are you going to support them?
Well, they need to summons the individual. So they can't just throw somebody in jail. That person has to have the right to go and defend themselves in court. we will be there to assist with the pack of all the stuff that we've learnt around the unlawfulness of e-tolling. But to do that and to get there, we have to prepare, we have to get our legal team sorted out. They can't do this for nothing. These things take time. That case might go to an appeal. We have to go and raise another estimated 5 million rand. And the last time we went to the public to get the funding, it was a tough job. So now we have to say, until we get the commitment of at least 10,000 people to sign a debit order over a year for 50 rand a month, whatever that funding decision is, we can't just go ahead, because it's hard to fight these cases on behalf of society without the support. And we're talking about the funding support of society. Now think about it, 10,000 people, less than 1% of the regular.
But what about this legal firm that said they would represent the first?
Well, we've met with them, and yes, it's all very well for they're part of this whole effort. It's all very well to say, no, we'll do it, but that's not the senior council, that's not the junior council. You need to have the right people in, who, even at a reduced rate, there's administration costs. It costs us 500,000 rand just to prepare the files for some of these court.
What are you going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow's the big day. You've been fighting this for years. Tomorrow we are supposed to abide the law. Are you going to?
No, I'm not going to get an e-tag, and I will be driving on these roads and not paying. So like thousands, hundreds of thousands of others will be doing that. And that's not necessarily breaking the law, because we believe the process is unlawful. It's been brought about in an unlawful manner, and that needs to be tested. And until that's tested, it's not.
Do you have any understanding of what government is going to do to try and enforce this?
No, we've asked them. Justice Project of South Africa has also asked them to give clarity around the enforcement process. They are not providing the clarity. They like that fact, because they keep people confused. The more people are confused, the more they go out to say, well, let me just, in this state of confusion, get an e-tag, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're not going to license my car. I don't know if I'm going to be pulled over. And Sanral loves this. So they're deliberately keeping people in this confused state of mind. And we're telling people, be strong. They don't have the numbers they need. This system will fail.